How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. I want to say thank you to all my viewers and my subscribers for the encouraging words and for the commentary that many of you left in my most recent videos. Thank you so much for showing your love and support for the content and for the channel and for myself. I'm honored by that, and I'm trying to push myself to making content again because of all of you. It's very encouraging to know that there are many like-minded individuals like myself who are out there who are very supportive and concerned about recent issues that have happened with me personally. So thank you again to all of you. If you want to help to support the channel, everybody, I do have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box below. If you want to support the channel that way, you can. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. So forgive me, it's 20 minutes after 5 in the morning Monday. I woke up pretty early this morning. I got a really good night's sleep. I went to bed super early last night. So I wanted to take some time to get into some Transformers talk on the channel here, which I haven't done in a while. And we're going to take a look at this guy right here. This is the Transformers Legacy United Optimus Prime, and he's a little fella. This Prime has been called the budget missing link, which I happen to have CO1 and CO2 right here. As a matter of fact, we have New Year Convoy and we have Earthrise Optimus right here. So I got them there for size comparisons. But to call this a budget missing link, I don't really know about that. I mean, it is very similar in design when it comes to the articulation. I mean, he's got movement in his legs. You can do a front kick, back kick. You know, you can do his spread and all that kind of thing. He's got an ankle tilt. You know, his arms do, you know, move back and forth and whatnot. And he's got elbow articulation. His head does move, even though my copy, it's a little stiff. But it's a really nice little Optimus Prime. I mean, for what it is. I actually like this right here, his backpack, because that's, to me, it's more accurate than anything that's out there so far. And I wish they would have gone back with the missing link Prime and would have included something like this to conceal Optimus Prime's head. But it's a nice little Optimus Prime for what it is. Mine is upgraded. We're going to transform him in a little bit. But I wanted to talk about the upgrades with this guy. So if you can tell, right there in his butt, there's a brand new gap filler. There are gap fillers here and here on his back. And there are gap fillers between his legs right here. And there are little itty-bitty gap fillers on his feet. And I could tell you it drove me mad trying to get these little itty-bitty gap fillers into place, because they're so tiny and so small and so awkward. When it comes to these guys here, I highly suggest you keep this panel open to put these gap fillers in. And I would suggest using a toothpick with a little bit of crazy glue to put some glue onto the sides. You don't want to drop the glue directly inside because there are pins in here. So you want to take some crazy glue and swipe the outside of the holes, and then carefully and gently push these inserts in. And it fills in those gaps really nice. It makes the figure so much better. There's actually screw hole fillers right here on his butt. So, and the smokestacks are brand new, as a matter of fact. They're actually a little bit taller and longer, and they're shinier to match a little bit more of the aesthetic of Prime smokestacks. I mean, if you look at your classic Primes, or you look at the missing link Primes, I mean, you know, they're typically tall. I hate the Earthrise Prime because it's just, he's got huge skinny legs. The smokestacks are, you know, teeny tiny, which I really don't like. I'm a fan of G1 Prime. I mean, that's just how it is. I'm one of those stubborn G1ers, I guess. But anyway, he comes with two guns. He comes with an Energon axe also. I don't bother with the Energon axe or this gun right here because it's really not accurate to Prime. So, I mean, he does have storage for it. You could stick this right there on his back, which is fine. If you want to do that, you can. But I prefer this gun because it's more accurate to what Prime would use. Because you look at all of these guns here, and all of them are huge. They're not a pencil gun like this one is. You know what I mean? So, but it's a fun little toy for what it is. What this guy is, this is when I start, my brain starts to think. I know that's a problem for a lot of people when you have somebody who actually thinks and questions things. This guy reminds me of when Voltron was out in the 80s. Many of you are probably my age. I'm going to be 48 in 3 weeks' time. So I grew up with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Thundercats and all that good stuff. And when it came to Voltron, this reminds me of Voltron. And I can explain why. Because back in the 80s, there were those little knockoff Voltrons that were not as big as this guy. They were probably like 4 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches tall. But they did come from a Japanese toy. You had different size Voltrons for different size budgets that had different quirks about them. Matchbox released Voltron that's probably as tall as Earthrise Prime right there. Then you had the gigantic electronic Voltron, and then of course you had your classic 5 Lion Matchbox Voltron, your Popey Chikokin King of the Beast Go Lion, which I used to own. I sold it off years ago, unfortunately. You had your Bandai Voltron, but you had different size Voltrons to fit different budgets. And that's kind of what this guy reminds me of, So if you couldn't afford to buy a CO1 or a CO2 or any other Optimus Prime, I mean, this is a viable option, in my opinion. He's a fun little figure. And then when you add the upgrades to him, I don't see a problem with this guy, And what's cool is that the transformation is very simple. It's very similar to, your typical classic Prime, His hands do tuck away like so. I'll transform him for you guys. You got to watch. You definitely have to put a drop or two of silicone grease in there because this part's very stiff. But once it gets loose, it's very easy to maneuver the hands into place. So you take his head, flip it in, and this is why I love this feature. It's so nice. I wish that they would reconfigure these guys to have this back on there. That's just me. So he does have the upskirt, but that's more for, articulation and stuff like that, not really for the transformation. But, and of course, in typical Optimus Prime style, you kind of fold his arms in, just like so. Oops. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now, it's going to be, if you do add the upgrade kit, it's going to be a little stiffer here in the corner. So just make sure, at least on my copy, make sure, you push those inserts in nice and tight so that this way, nothing sticks out. Now, this always gives me a problem. You kind of have to, I don't even know how to explain it. You kind of have to click these guys into place. Actually, let me fold his feet up just to make it a little easier. And this is where this part gets a little stubborn. But once you get them together, I mean, he pretty much is your typical Optimus Prime. I mean, for a very tiny Optimus Prime, I mean, this thing does a great job of emulating the G1 figure so well. Especially if you add the new smokestacks to it with the taller, shinier smokestacks. I mean, it really, really brings this little little prime to life. And what's cool about this, now I'm going to push him down just so that he gets flush. Because like my copy is just a little wonky in this area here. It doesn't really sit flush for some reason. So you kind of have to like manipulate it to get it to sit down like that. What's cool is, I'm going to move the camera down here just a little bit so that you can see this. The Earthrise Optimus Prime trailer works really, really well with this particular figure. You know, because when you actually transform Earthrise Prime, the gap between here is really close. In other words, like the trailer is really up against the robot like this. But with this guy, this trailer works out really well with this Optimus Prime. And, you know, if you don't have a lot of room for a full-size Prime like CO1 or CO2 or New York Convoy or what have you, this is a really nice, small Optimus Prime to have on your desk or by your computer or wherever you want to display him. I mean, the size of this thing is just really, really, really nice. It's small, it's compact, and this trailer works so much better with this guy. To me, it just aesthetically looks way better. And of course, you know, you can move this thing back and forth. Unlike the Earthrise Optimus Prime, excuse me, you really don't have any clearance. The guy usually jams up in the front over here. And unfortunately, there are plastic wheels on this trailer. So, but with all that being said, I mean, it does roll. I mean, again, I'm on a, you know, very smooth surface here. So, you know, the plastic tires aren't really going to roll like they should. But, it's a fun little Optimus Prime. I can't see why you wouldn't want to get this thing. I mean, people have been, you know, really, really bashing this thing. I personally like it, you know, because I have a 6-tier shelf in my living room filled up with Transformers. And this little guy actually fits on my work desk, you know. So it's kind of cool if you want to have a display piece for the fun of it. Go for it with this guy. And the upgrade kits just make it so much better. So let me get him back in a robot form. Again, it's very easy. It's very similar to transform, just like its G1 counterpart or its C1 and CO2 counterpart, with the exception that, you know, you kind of have to grab this part here, take it, spin it, lock it into place. Now, his head could be a little stubborn when you're taking him out, so I kind of have to get my fingernail right there on his faceplate, and voila, out comes his head. So, and again, it could be a little stubborn. There we go. So let's get the trailer out of the way, and I'll do like a little itty-bitty pose. Just to, there we go. We'll put his big boomstick in his hand because he has to have his boomstick. Now, again, like I said, he's got the Energon axe. I'm really not a fan of the Energon axe. I mean, it was only used in one episode, so I really don't display my primes with the Energon axe. And, of course, he's got this wee, tiny little matrix of leadership that you stick in his chest. I don't think... Oh, there it goes. Whoops. Fell on the floor. Always expect the unexpected on this channel. So, look at this teeny weeny little blue matrix. It's so odd. But at least he's got a matrix. And at least you can pull the matrix out. So if you want to pose him holding it, that's fine too. You know, you do whatever you want. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a nice little Optimus Prime. I don't see the problem with it. I know a lot of guys have been roasting this thing, but it's fun, you know, especially if you're on a budget and you can't afford, you know, say one of these guys here. Let's get the camera panned up here just a little bit. If you can't afford CO1 or CO2 Prime, or if you can't afford a reissue like New Year Convoy here that I've upgraded with the BTS upgrades, I mean, this guy is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The only thing I would really suggest is to get the upgrade kit with all the gap fillers and stuff like that, because it really, really, really improves the look of the figure and cleans them up real nice. And of course, if you have Earthrise Optimus with the trailer, let me tell you, the trailer works really, really well. I'm actually considering getting the non-F upgrade kit that I saw on their website. Even though they don't make it with the hose anymore, I still might get it. I'm not sure, but this trailer works really well with this Prime, if you ask me. So if you want to know what I think that this figure is well worth every penny, especially if you get the upgrade kit. I mean, by the time I actually install this upgrade kit and everything is glued into place already, so it's already too late. I can't pull these panels off. There are actually thigh extensions to make him a little taller. But he's fine the way he is. I mean, I'm not going to nitpick too much, except to say that I think it's a fun little figure. If you're able to get your hands on one, I definitely would. And if you get the upgrade kit off of eBay, I suggest you do so, because it really, really cleans up all of the gaps that are on his back. But just exercise caution, because it almost drove me crazy trying to push these in because they were so tight. Especially on the foot here. These are actually two panels on the bottom of the feet. And you can see where the paint started coming off because of the crazy glue that I used. So just exercise a little caution and patience. But otherwise, you know, he's an Optimus Prime. You can't go wrong. So with that being said, I highly suggest getting this guy. It's a lot of fun. If you don't have a lot of room to display your Optimus, say like, you know, since I work out of my home here selling baseball cards from my work desk, you know, it's a nice little display piece to put on your desk. It's more for morale than anything else. So anyway, with that being said, that's pretty much it, folks, for this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. Link is in the description box below. Until next time, my friends, again, thank you so much for your kind words and your support of not just myself, but of each other. It's nice to see, you know, when hobbyists like myself come together. You know, it's really inspiring and really, really helps me to continue to want to make content for all of you. So thank you so much, everyone. I really, really deeply appreciate it. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And I will see you all very soon.